Live Saturday night, it's World of Tanks with Pandy answering your questions. And without further ado, here's Pandy.
Hi, I am Pandy, and I am. Oh, no, I'm just fucking with you guys. It's Pandy. I'm playing World of Tanks, and I am with some fine folks. Relic here, Dave, myself, Flat Nasty, Nolan, Roger, and Spoon Man, who's gonna be. Yeah, that's Nolan. And Spoon Man, who's gonna be eating food, but might be back. I don't know. We'll see it. Spoon did the intro and all that good shit. He's fucking awesome. Does voiceovers and all that good shit. Whatever. Or whatever. So, or whatever. So, we're going to run with this. This is the second attempt because I fucked up in recording at first, so hopefully this goes fine. What we're going to be doing is we're just going to be playing games in our tanks, and it looks like Flat picked a IS-4. I'm going to be reading questions off, and I'm going to answer them, and everyone else is going to throw in input, etc., etc., etc. So hopefully everything goes well. Hopefully the Gibmeister will throw down answers every once in a while. I see his mic is muted now, but you know he doesn't like to talk and all. But let's go ahead and no countdowns, not during this because it just But I'm going to go ahead and read the first question, or Dave's going to read the very first question because it's his question, and we'll go from here. So, Dave, if you don't mind.
Disconnected from your channel.
And that's Spoon leaving.
All right. If I was new to the game, what plan would you recommend to enable me to progress through the lower tiers quickly and get to the tier 5 in a medium tank? Assume that I would have limited access to gold. My goal would be to learn and develop into a solid player along the way and have a decent tank that I can use as a jumping off point to the higher tiers.
And I had Dave go ahead and read that one first because it's a very, very good question, so I want to go ahead and get to it first. What I would do is find yourself a tank that you can actually sit in and play over and over and over to make enough credits, because that's the bottleneck that you're going to run into when you get to a certain point in the game. The very first 3 tiers of tanks is relatively easy, cheap, and quick, but once you get to tier 4 and 5, it's going to be a process of just doing those tanks over and over and over and grinding through all the issues related to just the low tier tanks. Fast loading guns and also low hit points and low armor. But once you can get past the factor of the credit bottleneck, or I'm going to go up top here, you guys will usually potentially get through to a point where you can buy your tanks and move forward. Limited gold, if you can happen to get your hands on gold, it does help a lot, especially with a premium tank. You can actually, or premium tank and account, you can potentially get enough credits fairly quickly and experience very, very quickly to a tier 5 tank, just very, very fast. So I don't know if you guys have any tips in regards to that, but just the credits is going to be your bottleneck in regards to just getting those tanks very, very quickly. So you guys have anything else to say?
Well, he made a specific reference to medium line. By the time you get to tier 4 mediums, i.e. like a Leopard, that kind of vehicle, you're going to end up being tiered very highly. In other words, you'll be in matches with tier 8s and tier 9s at tier 4 in a Leopard, for instance, or the T50. So just keep that in mind. It's was he saying medium or light?
I think medium.
Okay. Well, scratch that whole comment.
When it comes to tier 5 mediums, it's the same process. You just have to grind all the way through and make enough credits to be able to purchase it. Damn, Dave, you got one-shotted?
Well, there's one other thing.
It appears that way.
That I'd like to throw out there in regards to trying to progress very quickly. When you do that, you neglect learning the basic tactics and strategies of the tanks themselves. So try not to be a hardcore tank chaser if you can help it. Find a vehicle you're comfortable with and use it to grind. Get it elited, or get yourself a premium like Pandy said. and it will help you get the experience quickly and help you progress as fast as you want to within the parameters of the speed of the game.
The one thing I like to add is try to stay with one line. Don't, jump from French to American to German to Chinese or whatever, because all you're doing is spreading all your experience around instead of maximizing it.
That's a very good comment. Just focusing on one line will allow you to get up in tiers a lot quicker because you're just focusing all your energy into a single line.
Yeah, and you'll gain familiarity with those the play styles of those vehicles.
And along that statement, just keep in mind that the more you play in tanks, the more tanks you play, the more you understand their attributes and faults.
Yep.
Which can help you in battle, knowing what your enemies are capable of or where their weaknesses are, can really benefit your game.
And one other thing I like to say is take some time and read the wiki, especially about the game mechanics. You can improve your game a lot just by understanding how the game actually works.
Yeah, when it comes to the game mechanics, getting a lot of hits, a lot of pins, and also battle rewards will help you in the long haul. So getting snipers up front will give you more credits and more experience. So, any other comments?
I think that's it, my man.
Okay. Next question is going to be from War Dog the Awesome. Wow, I get hit by already. Question is Pandy, what do you think about the physics update that's going to be? And don't you think the team will just jump off cliffs in the first few days just because they can? I think they will, because there's a lot of idiots in the game, but when it comes to having physics added into the game, that would help out in the sense that instead of allowing people just to run up to a cliff just because they know they won't fall off and not damaging themselves will help gameplay in the sense that you have to be careful against ledges and things of that nature. So I think overall it'll help gameplay so that it'll be kind of more realistic because gravity's in effect. Also, I'm hoping they make the physics so that they show in those trailers that you're flying through the air and all that good stuff, when it just really depends. I don't think you should fly 30 to 40 feet unless there's a reason, or there's 30 or 40 feet below you. I don't think you should like fly off like you would like on a skateboard or anything, but you'll provide opportunities and allow people to get to places that they're not supposed to on the map, but also allow for more caution when approaching ledges and trying to shoot down a ledge. So it will add a new aspect to the game that we have not seen yet. So you guys got any thoughts on that? No thoughts?
No, you're pretty well covered.
Okay, the next question is more for me. I'm not sure if others have asked this, but what is your line of work? I am a information technology consultant who's currently working for a financial institution in a Windows 7 refresh. I am a deployment lead for the city that I'm in, and I have lead techs and I also have techs. So I just help image machines and put them on desks. I also do thin clients and all that good stuff. So it's more of project work, and that's the line of work that I actually prefer because it's ever changing, and you know, you don't stay in one place, so everything you're learning a lot more, and you're also just, you know, doing what you do best, which is, you know, work on computers. So that's what I do best. I don't know about anyone else. Do you guys want to share what you guys do? No?
I'm a quality assurance manager for a saturation dive system company.
I'm a purchasing and inventory control manager for a small manufacturing company.
I'm a general manager for a small manufacturing company.
Damn, we all manage people.
Plays a lot too much.
Yeah, no one doesn't work. He lives off of his grant money from his parents. Ain't that right?
What?
What? No?
Fuck you!
And I'm a network technician at a small nonprofit.
So there we go.
What the fuck does that matter with tanks? Let's get going on some questions.
I know, man. The next question is from Rog Fleeter. I don't know. Where do you get all this info about tanks? And I mean, I know about the info about more of the popular tanks, but when it comes to others that are hard to find, how do you, or anything about it on the internet, how do you know? Well, what I do, most of the information that I receive about tanks is via Wikipedia. And then what I usually do is I verify the information via the internet, other sources, or books. A lot of the harder tanks that you try to look information up about, you usually have to look at where did they come from, why were they developed, and what purpose were they supposed to be filling. Basically a lot like the Tiger P. The Tiger P, there isn't really all that much information out there, so what I had to do is look at what was the intention in designing it. It was supposed to be a heavy tank alongside with the Tiger H, or the Tiger tank that we know of, that we love. So what I did was I bought a book on the development of the Tiger tank, and I looked at the competition, which was the Tiger P. And I based a lot of my information off of what they talked about and the faults and everything else, and why it wasn't, the primary heavy tank of the German Reich when the Tiger tank came out. So a lot of other tanks, a lot like for the VK 3002. I mean, you just have to look at the development of the Panther tank. So you just got to dig deep enough, and you're able to find the information that you need via ebooks or simply, contacting the National Archives for like the T110. I've contacted them for that, but there is literally no information on T110. So, I do a bit of research and verification, but my primary source is Wikipedia, and I verify through other sources to make sure the information there is accurate, because all that information there is unreliable because it's all user-editable, user-based. So what I do is I just, take a bunch of different sources, put it together, and, develop what I consider the history of the vehicle. I can't vouch that it's all 100% accurate because it's coming from a bunch of different sources. Sometimes you'll run into a situation where one source will say this is the reason why they put this gun on there, another one will say this is the reason. I just put logic into it, what would have been more logical with the resources of the time. So yeah, that is it. Let's see here. Pandy, how much do you usually play World of Tanks? Every day? And he asked me what my job is. So how much do I play every day? I tried to play every day just because, I like playing World of Tanks, but sometimes work gets involved. I actually worked 55 hours last week, so I didn't really get all that much game time in, but I tried to play as often as I can. Just sometimes work gets in the way. I know some of the guys here play every day. It just all really depends on my schedule and what I have in front of me. So, do you guys, what do you guys' schedules look like in regards to playing tanks?
I do about 50, 60 hours a week, and then, but I'm on most evenings. So
What schedule?
I play when I can.
I try to play a couple hours every day, and maybe a little more on the weekend, maybe up to 4 hours.
Ooh, you're all kinds of scratched up, Dave. Just quit scratching your head and that beard of yours. I know that beard's all sexy and shit, and I like to touch it, but come on now.
Okay.
The next question is from Undead Kitty 335. For the new version of the IS-4 being kicked down to a 122mm gun with a higher pin and reload, do you think this tank is unfair against the M103 and the T110? I don't, because there's going to be weaknesses on the IS-4 that we don't know about. From what I've understood from the forums, its armor's not up to speed or not good enough, so that might be the overwhelming weakness that we'll see with the IS-4. But we have to wait till it gets released so that we can actually know what the true values. It's currently still in testing, So we don't know what the finalized values are going to be. If we remember correctly, the French tanks, like I'm playing right here right now, were super OP when they first came out. Dave, you want to go left side? Left side?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
If we remember correctly, the French tanks were super OP during the test server. And, you know, they had to bounce them out so that at least the other tanks will have a chance against them. So when it comes down to it, we have to wait till it gets released and see how it fares and see how Wargaming rebalances everything and all that good stuff. So what do you guys think about the IS-4? I know some of you guys, did any of you guys play on the test server yet?
I have not.
Yeah, negative here.
So no one's played it. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Oh, Gibby, I know you played on it, didn't you?
No.
No? Oh, shit.
But
Wow.
I like to say one thing, though.
Oh, what's that?
I like turtles.
Yeah, I love them. I love
I
those
like
things.
turtles.
Fucking Gibby.
I will say this. I do really enjoy the IS-4. It's one of my favorite Tier 9 vehicles, as is right now.
As is right now.
Yes, I love its armor.
But as a tier 10, do you think it'll hold up against bigger guns? And do you think it'll be good for Clan Wars?
Yeah, I think it'll do fine. Good shot, by the way.
I'm reloading. So while I'm reloading, I can probably read the next question unless you guys have more comments. Okay. The Zik months, or some guy's name. He's this particular guy. He's from the 106th Panzer Division. Zukmin, whatever. He's on forums too. How do you distinguish between keeping yourself alive longer or taking hits for your team so that you have one more gun alive if he could not take a hit? And while solo queuing, I have a hard time deciding whether the guy next to me deserves the extra shot if he takes if I take the hit, or the hit if I take the hit for him in a certain situations, and if he knows what to do with the window of opportunity I gave him, or if to leave the situation and keep myself alive longer so I can formulate a different plan later on. Well, that's all relative to the situation. I mean, and whether or not you've played with the guy previously, you know what he's capable of, and
You said played with the guy.
well, you know how I love to play with the guys. Come on now. Anyways, you fucker, you fucked up my train of thought.
I'm sorry, man. You did say that.
Anyways, it just depends on whether or not you played with him before and if you know what he's capable of. If not, well, it's all relative. Do you have the hit points to spare? And if not, why would you bother trying to save him if you don't know anything about him? I mean, as far as you know, he probably won't use that opportunity but to, you know, fuck it up somehow. I mean, you don't know. There's so many different players. There's too many different players, different kinds of play styles. You don't know if he's going to be aggressive with that gun. You don't know if he's going to be passive. So it's all situational on whether or not you know him or don't know him. What I would prefer is, you know, if you're platooned up with someone, which the question is based off of you just pubbing by yourself, you know, you might save a teammate because you know what they're capable of. So it's all relative. What do you guys think?
I think it might even be relative
What do you mean?
to the situation.
Oh, no shit. But what do you mean? Like, is it worth it or not?
In a pub? Hell no. Take care of yourself and keep your gun alive. At least you know what you can do with it. That other guy, you know, God only knows what he's capable of.
I have meat shielded for other tanks that are like 300 HP if I'm in a small tank, and they've got, you know, something over 100 mil.
I always think it's better to help your team win is better than a loss where you had great stats, to me.
It's what's up. That's what's up. Just fair warning to the viewers, if you guys hear a buzzing noise near the microphone, that's my electronic cigarette, so just keep that in mind. So, yeah.
It's your cancer kazoo.
It's not even that. It's electronic cigarette. Google the shit.
I'm going to answer a lot of
Real men
questions.
smoke cigarettes.
Cancer kazoo.
I hate you, Flat. Hate you so much.
I love everything about me.
Well, there's something we didn't know.
I love me some Pandy.
Okay.
All right.
Next question is, Pandy, let's say you were a tank crew member at World War II, in which tank would you like to fight in? I'm gonna have to say the King Tiger, just because it's baller and boss and all that good shit. It has good mobility for its weight. It has a good gun, the best gun during the war, comparable to what was massively produced and deployed. And it has really great armor. There's downsides to King Tiger, like being mechanically over-engineered, but that can be all looked past. If I had to pick one, I would probably pick the King Tiger. I don't care what position, the radio man or bow gunner or driver or the loader. I don't care. I just would prefer to fight in the King Tiger. So, what about you guys?
I'd have to say the King Tiger or the Yag Tiger.
Purdy all the way. He'll climb that bitch and then burn to death. Hoorah.
Okay. Next
I've
question.
got no comment.
No comment? Why not?
No, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I love all things heavy with guns.
In all seriousness, though, I would probably I'd rather get thrown on a Pershing.
Yeah,
That's not a bad choice right there.
Even though there was only very limited number of them being deployed, yeah, that wouldn't be so bad. But yeah.
And actually, in World War II, probably the IS-3.
IS-3 wasn't deployed during World War II.
It wasn't deployed, but it did make the march.
Okay.
So what Roger's saying is he'd rather come in at the end when there were no bullets flying. Roll into fucking town like a hero.
Yeah.
Oh,
red
we
flag
won.
a
We
flying.
won. Look at my shiny tank. It's never been shot
Oh, no, come
at.
on. It's a hypothetical situation here.
Why isn't anyone talking? Oh, they're all dead. Oh, shit.
Oops, my bad.
Am I late?
Alright. Next question is by Waveman99. The question is, do you think scouting has taken a back seat to brawling? A good scout can obviously turn the tide of battle, such as Havoc with a good T-50-2 driver can cause. But does it seem to you that scouting targets for arty while tanks take cover covers the corners and grab or gaps is basically discouraged by game design? Do you think there's any balance at the present time? I think scouting has taken a back seat. I mean, a really good scout. Oh, scouts generally will just run out there like madmen with their hair on fire and not even bother trying to stay alive to continue scouting for tanks. That's one good way of actually.
Hold on. I have to interrupt. A question here to add to that. Are we referring to pub matches, or are we referring to a clan war situation?
I'm assuming probably... I was going to get into that. I'm assuming it's pub matches, but I was going to cover both aspects.
Sorry.
Okay. People just running out there just to get suicide doesn't help the team in the long haul, like I was trying to say. But if you can manage to scout and continue scouting, you get experience for that, especially with the guys outside of his view range and all that good stuff. But in this full spectrum of things, scouting is a necessity because more information and more targets that your team can shoot, the better. But it seems like everyone wants to actually fight and get into the mix of things where it isn't exactly a necessity. Now, when it comes to clan wars, like our friend here said, I think scouting is really reserved for the tier 9 medium tanks, where they have decent view range and who can defend themselves if they have to with a semi-larger gun. But it's all relative. Scouting is damn near a suicide mission, but at the same time is very valuable to the team as a whole. So it just all depends. It really does depend. So what do you guys think? Flat, I know you probably got something to say.
It's such a hairy little balance there between, you know, scouting, using it, and not using it. And I personally, I do a lot of scout tank driving and in the pub matches and whatnot, and I think it's a valuable thing if it's done well. But again, so is any other tank you roll. And I don't mean to be vague about it. It's just, you know, play the tank properly in its role, and it's an asset.
Anyone else? I think Roger had a comment on the first time around about the artillery. No? No?
You know, your artillery's more effective with a good scout. That certainly can't be denied.
Oh shit, the 103's not going to come out. I was going to hit him with a gold round.
I'm going in on him.
Because I wasn't able to, because he's hauling down like a good 103.
Let me get in his face and distract him.
I'm reloading. Yeah, he's coming after me. Can you put a round into him?
Not
no,
yet.
I'm down. But no more questions. Or, you know, no.